The stars were silent, endless, and cold. For centuries, the galaxy had known its masters. Great empires of alien races ruled the void, building fleets, destroying rivals, and claiming every world they could. They thought they had seen everything. They thought no secret could surprise them, but they were wrong. From the edge of the galaxy came something strange, something that did not belong. It began as a whisper, a strange signal echoing across the black. Alien scientists argued about it. Was it natural? Was it a mistake in the scanners? But the signal kept coming, steady, deliberate, almost like a heartbeat. At first, the powerful alien council laughed. They had fought endless wars, crushed entire species, and erased civilizations. What could possibly hide from them in this galaxy? And yet, deep inside, unease began to grow. The council sent scouts. Small ships disappeared into the outer void, chasing the strange signal. Days passed, weeks passed. None of those ships ever returned. Their last transmissions were filled with static and fear. One scout had managed to send a final image before vanishing. It was blurred, unclear, but it showed something massive, something shaped like a shadow cutting across starlight. No one could tell what it was. The council grew uneasy. More fleets were sent. Stronger ships, powerful weapons, but still, silence. The fleets went into the dark, and they did not come back. And then, the shadow moved. Alien long-range sensors screamed, warnings across the galaxy. Something was approaching, something enormous, something alive with power. It was not a planet, not an asteroid, not any shape they had ever known. It was a ship so large it seemed like a floating city. They called it the monster ship. Its surface was covered with glowing red lights, burning like the eyes of predators in the dark. Its engines pushed against the stars with unimaginable force. The monster ship moved slowly without fear, as if it had no need to rush. Every alien race that saw it felt the same chill. This was not a vessel of peace. This was a beast of war. The first time it appeared on alien screens, silence filled the command halls. No commander spoke. No soldier breathed. They simply stared, their skin trembling, their hearts sinking. For ages, the aliens had thought themselves the masters of war. They had built ships with cannons larger than towers. They had weapons that could split moons. But none of them had ever imagined this. One single ship larger than any fleet, built for only one purpose: domination. The aliens whispered among themselves. What kind of species builds this? Who could dare to create such a monster? And then they learned the name. A single word, spoken in the first human transmission: humanity. The word spread like fire. Across the galaxy, it echoed in fear. The silent watchers of space, those who had believed they owned the stars, suddenly felt small. They remembered the scout ships that had never returned, the blurred images of shadows in the dark, the growing fear that they had ignored. Now it was here. The monster ship drifted closer to the alien borders, silent, patient, unstoppable. Alien admirals gathered their fleets. Thousands of ships waited, weapons ready, but their hands shook. For the first time in generations, they felt what they had once given to others: fear. The humans did not speak much. A single message came from the monster ship, repeated again and again in calm, simple words: "We come in peace. Do not test our patience." But those words did not bring comfort. The aliens knew the difference between words and truth. They had spoken the same lies to weaker species before erasing them. And now, for the first time, they wondered, had they become the weak ones? The council sat in silence. Their leaders tried to speak boldly, but their voices cracked. One asked, "If this is only one ship, how many more do they have?" No one answered. The monster ship hung over the edge of their worlds like a shadow, waiting to fall. Its glowing red light shimmered across the void. Its metal surface reflected the distant stars. And all across the galaxy, the aliens waited, silent watchers trembling in fear. It was not just the ship. It was the silence that came with it. No threats, no shouting, no display of violence. only patience, only calm, only the kind of confidence that comes from true, unstoppable power. And so the legend began. The day when the galaxy first heard the name of humanity. The day when the silent watchers realized they were not alone. The monster ship had arrived. And with it came the end of certainty. Fear spreads faster than light. The monster ship had been seen only once, but its image already haunted every world in the galaxy. Alien governments tried to control the panic. They told their citizens that the strange ship was harmless, that it was slow, that it could be destroyed, but no one truly believed it. On hidden channels, rumors began to spread. Traders swore they had seen more ships, even larger ones, moving through dark space. Smugglers claimed entire fleets had vanished into the void after crossing paths with the monster. No proof, no recordings, only whispers. And yet the whispers carried more weight than official lies. In the great markets of the galaxy, alien merchants leaned close to each other, speaking in hushed voices. They call themselves humans. They have ships like planets. They carry weapons that can erase suns. Another would nod, adding, their monster ship is not even their strongest. It is only a messenger. The more the stories spread, the bigger they grew. Some said the humans were survivors of an ancient war, hiding in silence until their enemies had died out. Others believed they came from outside the galaxy, conquerors moving from star system to star system, leaving nothing but ashes behind. No one knew the truth, but no one dared to test the lies. The alien council met in secret chambers. The strongest, rulers of empires, sat around a great table of light, their voices low, their eyes full of unease. For the first time in centuries, their unity was born not of power, but of fear. The council leader asked, "What do we really know about these humans?" A thin alien scholar trembled as he answered, "Almost nothing." Their language appeared. "In our systems only recently. The signal is clear but simple. They call themselves humanity. They warn us not to test them. Beyond this, we have no history, no maps, no weakness." "Then how do they build such a ship?" Another leader snapped, her voice sharp, but her claws shaking. "No empire could create it without years of open war, without resources greater than ours. And yet they appear from the dark as if born ready." Silence followed. None had answers. One commander spoke at last. "Perhaps the ship is alone, a last relic of a dead species. Perhaps they are weaker than they appear." But even he did not believe his own words, because the monster ship still waited. It had not attacked. It had not demanded tribute. It had not claimed worlds. Instead, it simply remained at the border of known space, moving slowly, turning its burning red lights toward every watching fleet. Patience can be more terrifying than violence. The aliens knew war. They knew threats. They knew conquest. But this quiet, this silence, this was something new. And then, another whisper spread. A captured signal. The monster ship had spoken again, its message carried to every listening. "Here we seek peace, but peace does not mean weakness. Respect is required." The words were calm. Too calm. The aliens had used such words themselves when subjugating weaker races. They knew what it truly meant. It was not an offer. It was a warning. The council debated endlessly. Should they strike first? Should they ignore it? Should they attempt to talk? But in their hearts, they all knew the truth. They were not the hunters anymore. They were prey staring into the eyes of something far greater. Still, pride is strong. In the dark halls of alien war fleets, some commanders whispered a different thought. If we join forces, if we gather every weapon, perhaps we can test this monster. But others shook their heads. They had seen the reports. Fleets had vanished, in silence. Energy weapons had been absorbed. The monster ship had not even fired yet, and still no one could challenge it. Among the common people, fear turned into superstition. Children in alien homes whispered stories of humans as ghosts in the dark, as monsters with metal skin, as gods walking among stars. In every corner of the galaxy, the same question was asked. If one ship makes us tremble, how many more are waiting? The galaxy had lived for so long believing it was untouchable. Now one shadow had shattered that illusion. In the quiet space where the monster ship drifted, the humans waited. They spoke little, but their silence was more powerful than 1,000 weapons, and all across the stars the whispers grew louder. Humanity was no longer a rumor. Humanity was real. Humanity had arrived, and the galaxy would never be the same again. The galaxy held its breath. For weeks the monster ship had waited at the edge of known space. It had not moved closer, yet it had not left. It was like a predator watching from the shadows, patient, calm, and unshakable. The alien council could no longer remain silent. Fear was spreading through every world. Merchants refused to trade. Fleets stayed close to their home systems. Citizens demanded answers. So the council made a decision. Contact must be made. They would send their strongest fleet to meet this ship. Not as enemies, they told themselves, but as equals. Yet deep down they knew the truth. They were sending warriors not to speak, but to test. And so it began. 1,000 alien ships, sleek and shining, gathered in formation. Their engines glowed blue and green as they cut through the void. Cannons were charged. Shields burned bright. This was the pride of the galaxy, the combined strength of 3 great empires. Never before had such a force been united. When they reached the border, they saw it. The monster ship. It hung in the dark like a shadow carved from iron, massive and silent. Its surface shimmered with glowing red veins, like rivers of fire running across its armor. It made no move, no signal, no sound. The alien admiral raised his voice. "Human vessel, this is the United Council fleet. Identify yourself." Only silence answered. The alien ships moved closer. Their scanners swept across the monster ship's surface. What they found only deepened their fear. Its armor was thicker than mountains, its size greater than their largest stations. Weapons ports lined its sides like the jaws of a beast ready to bite. Still, the monster ship did not move. Then, without warning, its surface opened. Massive hangar bays glowed with white light. From within, smaller ships poured out. Dozens, then hundreds. Sleek black crafts with glowing pink engines, flying in tight formation. They moved like shadows, fast and perfect, circling the alien fleet. The alien soldiers trembled. These were not clumsy scouts, these were hunters built for war. The admiral tried again. "Human vessel, state your purpose." At last, a voice came. Calm, deep, steady. "We warned you. Do not test our patience." The words sent a chill through every alien heart. They had expected threats, shouting, demands. Instead, they heard quiet certainty, a confidence that needed no noise. The alien commanders whispered to each other. Should they attack? Should they retreat? Pride demanded strength, but instinct screamed fear. One alien captain, desperate to show power, fired. A single energy beam cut through space, striking the monster ship. The galaxy waited for an explosion, but there was none. The beam vanished into the ship's surface, absorbed like water into sand. The monster ship remained untouched. Its red lights burned brighter, pulsing like a heartbeat. The human voice returned. "You fire once. We forgive. You fire again. You will not live to regret it." Silence followed. Alien hands shook over, their weapon controls. For the first time in centuries, warlords felt like children. The smaller human ships continued circling, closing in tighter, their glowing thrusters leaving trails across the dark. The alien fleet, once confident, now felt like prey caught in a trap. The admiral gave the order. "Hold fire, no one shoots again." The alien fleet froze. Thousands of weapons pointed at the monster ship, but none dared to fire. The human ships did not attack. They did not need to. Their silence spoke louder than any weapon. They had proven their power without firing a single shot. And then, The monster ship turned slowly, its engines glowing brighter. Without a word, it moved deeper, into alien space. The smaller ships followed, leaving the alien fleet behind. The admiral could not breathe. His soldiers looked at him with wide, terrified eyes. None dared to stop the humans. None even dared to follow. The first encounter was over, and the aliens knew the truth. This was not diplomacy. This was not negotiation. This was a message. The humans had come, and nothing in the galaxy would ever stop them again. The galaxy thought it had seen enough. The monster ship had already silenced fleets without firing a single weapon. Its patience was more terrifying than war itself. Yet no one truly understood what the humans were capable of, until one reckless choice revealed the truth. In the Grand Council Hall, alien leaders argued for hours. Fear had grown so deep that entire empires hesitated to send ships beyond their own borders. Trade routes had broken, colonies cried out for protection, citizens demanded safety. Some leaders whispered that the humans might only be bluffing. Perhaps the monster ship was nothing more than an ancient relic, a shell without power. Others, trembling, said it was not bluff at all. They insisted it was only the beginning, that humanity had many more ships hidden in the dark. The debate went on, but pride has a way of poisoning judgment. One empire, the proudest of them all, refused to kneel to fear. Their warlord slammed his fist against the council table and declared, "If humans think they can frighten us with one ship, then let us show them how wrong they are. We will test their monster. We will break it." The others warned him. They pleaded for caution. But the warlord would not listen. His fleets had conquered dozens of systems. His armies had crushed entire civilizations. To him, humanity was only another challenger waiting to be destroyed. So he sent his fleet. It was vast, more than 5,000 ships, armed with weapons powerful enough to tear apart planets. They approached the monster ship with fury, shields raised, cannons ready. The galaxy watched in silence, waiting to see what would happen. The monster ship did not move. It waited, calm as always, glowing red lights burning across its hull. The alien warlord gave the order. Fire. Thousands of beams of energy cut through the dark. Explosions of light shook the void. Torpedoes slammed against the monster ship's surface. The sky burned brighter than any sun. But when the light faded, the monster ship remained. Untouched, the alien fleet froze. Their scanners screamed warnings. The energy they had fired was gone, absorbed, swallowed whole. It was as if the monster ship had eaten their attack. Then, for the first time, the humans revealed a glimpse of their power. The monster ship's surface shifted. Panels opened like the skin of a beast revealing its fangs. From deep within, weapons emerged, vast cannons larger than alien warships, their tips glowing with white fire. The human voice spoke again, calm but sharp as a blade. "We asked for peace. You chose war." And then it fired. The beam that left the monster ship was unlike anything the galaxy had ever seen. It was not simple energy. It was raw destruction, pure and absolute. One strike tore through hundreds of alien ships at once, erasing them from existence. No wreckage remained. Only silence. The alien warlord shouted orders, but his fleet was already broken. Panic spread, ships scattered, desperate to flee. But the smaller human crafts, those silent hunters with glowing thrusters, moved in. They cut through the fleeing ships with precise, merciless strikes. In minutes, the proud fleet was gone. The warlord's flagship trembled, his crew begging him to retreat. But before he could decide, a shadow fell across his ship. The monster ship had moved closer, filling every screen, every sensor. Then the human voice returned, low and steady. "This is your only lesson. Do not repeat it." The warlord's ship shook. Systems shut down. Lights died. His mighty vessel had been disabled. Not destroyed, but silenced. Humanity had made its point. The galaxy trembled. News spread faster than light. Every empire, every world, every soldier now knew the truth. The monster ship was not only armor and size, it carried weapons no one could understand, technology beyond imagination, and the will to use it when tested. And still, it had only fired once. The humans had shown mercy. They could have erased the entire fleet, yet they chose to spare survivors. This mercy was not weakness, it was control, a warning sharper than any sword. The galaxy's greatest warriors now whispered what none dared say aloud. Humanity does not bluff. Humanity does not bow. Humanity does not lose. The monster ship returned to its silent drift, glowing red lights pulsing like the heartbeat of a predator. It had revealed only a fraction of its hidden power, and that fraction was enough to shake the galaxy to its core. For the first time in ages, the rulers of the stars felt small. They had always believed they were the predators, the hunters, the masters of the void. But now they understood. They were not the hunters. They were the hunted, and the monster ship was only the beginning. The galaxy had changed forever. Before the monster ship, the great empires had believed themselves untouchable. They had ruled for ages, fought endless wars, and crushed countless weaker species. But now, one ship had undone centuries of pride. The news of the destroyed fleet spread like wildfire. Entire systems whispered of the human vessel, of its calm words, its unstoppable armor, and its one strike that erased hundreds of ships as if they were nothing. No one could hide the truth anymore. In the marketplaces of distant worlds, merchants lowered their voices as they spoke. "Did you hear? The humans spared survivors." Another would answer, trembling, "Yes, they could have ended us all, but they chose not to." That choice terrified them more than any destruction. Mercy from such power was not kindness. It was dominance. It was control. Children across alien worlds played games in the streets pretending to be humans. They raised sticks like giant weapons, shouting, "We come in peace, do not test us." Their parents pulled them inside, frightened even by the imitation of those words. The alien council gathered once more. Their faces were pale, their voices broken. Pride was gone. All that remained was fear. One leader whispered, "If this was only one ship, what happens when more arrive?" Another trembled. "What if they already surround us in the dark, watching, waiting?" No one could answer. For the monster ship had returned to silence. It no longer fired. It no longer moved forward. It simply drifted, a shadow at the edge of their stars, glowing red like the watchful eye of a predator. And yet, its presence was enough to paralyze the galaxy. Armies that once marched proudly now stayed home. Fleets that once roamed freely clung to their worlds. The galaxy had been forced into stillness, every race holding its breath, waiting, fearing. The galaxy was trembling, but it was not just fear of the ship. It was fear of the unknown. The aliens had maps of every empire, every world, every rival. But humanity? Humanity came from the dark. No one knew their numbers. No one knew their history. No one knew their purpose. Were they explorers, conquerors, survivors, gods? All anyone knew was this. Their first message: "We come in peace. Do not test our patience." Simple words, repeated again and again, carried across the stars. But now, after the destruction of the fleet, those words carried new meaning. The galaxy realized humanity was not lying. They truly wanted peace. But their peace came with a warning sharper than war. The message was clear: respect us, or fall. The alien warlord who had attacked them now sat in silence. His once proud voice was gone. His fleets were ash and dust. His people looked at him, not as a hero but as a fool who had tested the wrong enemy. In the darkest chambers of power, alien rulers admitted what none had dared say before. The galaxy no longer belonged to them. It belonged to the humans, but humanity had not claimed it with armies or with conquests. They had claimed it with fear, with patience, with the shadow of a single ship, the monster ship. legends began to grow. On distant worlds, singers told stories of the humans, how they had appeared from nothing, how they had broken the strongest fleets, how they had spared those who surrendered. Some called them demons. Some called them gods. All agreed on one truth: humanity was not to be tested, and so the galaxy trembled, waiting for what would come next. Would more monster ships appear? Would humanity step deeper into their worlds? Or would they remain in the shadows, watching, judging, waiting for another foolish test? No one knew. But in the silence of deep space, aboard the monster ship itself, the humans waited, their voices calm, their minds steady. They did not need to rush. The galaxy was already theirs, not by conquest, but by fear. And so history was written. The day of first contact was not marked by peace, not by war, but by trembling. The day the galaxy learned the name of humanity, not as prey, not as equals, but as something greater. From that day forward, one image haunted the stars, the image of a colossal vessel, glowing red in the void, silent yet louder than any weapon, patient yet stronger than any empire. The monster ship, the symbol of humanity's arrival, and the reason the galaxy would never again sleep without fear.